welcome back to Lindsay's Little Library. So I'm here today to share with you my March wrap up of what I read, which was a really good month. I read 7 books. That's pretty decent. I'll take that. So let's get started and talk about them because yeah, I mean, it's probably an average reading month. Nothing like blow you away-ish, I think. First book I want to talk about is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. I read this for book club, which was a really good book club book if you need a good one. Psychological thriller-esque. So we have Chloe Davis, and when she was 12, that summer, 6 different girls went missing in her small town in Louisiana. By the end of the summer, her father confessed to the crimes, and she was then left to deal with the aftermath of this horrible, horrible crime. Fast forward 20 years in the future, she's a psychologist in Baton Rouge. She has a fiance, she has her own practice. It seems as if she has it all together, yet there are times when she feels like things are a bit out of control. She's kind of on this brink, this balance of normal life versus what happened in her past. When all of a sudden girls start going missing in her town, and it seems very similar to what she experienced in the past. So you have story in the past, story in the future, and this little bits of details being uncovered as you go through the book, which I absolutely loved. I thought it was fantastic. I gave it 4 stars. There was a couple parts that just weren't quite 5 stars for me, but still 4 stars, solid read, fantastic book. I still really liked it. And as well as the entire book club really liked it. So it was a good book. Oh, let's see. I guess I'm going to go in order this time. Next one I picked up is Wish You Were Here by Jodi Picoult. I was somewhat nervous about picking this one up because it does have to do with COVID. So we have Diana, and she, again, another one with like this perfectly laid out plan, and she's checking off the boxes to kind of get to the future that she has envisioned. And so she's got the job, she has a perfect fiance, and she is an art dealer, and he is a resident at a hospital in New York. And so their plan is to go to the Galapagos Islands to celebrate and, well, get engaged. That plan comes to a halt. They're supposed to leave on, I think, like March 13th. Check the date. March 13th, 2020. So he comes home, he sees what's kind of coming, he cannot leave, and he tells her, you still go, because I'm not going to be around anyways, you go on vacation. Well, she gets to the Galapagos right as everything shuts down, and she's stuck there during COVID by herself. And it goes from there. I was afraid this was going to be a little overly COVID, and it wasn't. It was a really interesting look back at what 2 years ago was, and I really enjoyed it. What did I give it? 4.5 stars. So, loved it. Lots to talk about in there too. I have a table situation over here. I gotta make sure we're not too noisy. Anyways, next book I picked up was Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I loved this book. Oh, I love this book. So we have Mr. and Mrs. Wright. Things have been wrong with the Wrights for a long time. Every anniversary, the couple exchanges traditional gifts, which I love that aspect of it. So you're hearing from the past and their relationship on every anniversary, and then you're going through the present where they are isolated in this renovated church, like Airbnb type situation in the middle of nowhere, and creepy things start happening, and it's so good. That's all I'm going to tell you. So good. Let's see. Next one, I read Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson this was for another book club that I did this. So this is told in verse. This is the only middle grade that I picked up in middle grade March. Considering I wasn't planning on reading any and I ended up picking this one up, I'm going to call that a success. Absolutely. So we have Jacqueline Woodson sharing her experience growing up as an African American in the 60s and 70s in verse. So it goes very quickly. I finished this in like a day, and I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. Next book I picked up was Culdesac by Joy Fielding. This was one of the library books that I borrowed that I did like a try a chapter on, and this is the one I decided to pick up. So this is full of crazy neighborhood drama, and so you are told that there's an incident that's going to happen right at the beginning of the book, and then you kind of go back in time and you try to figure out how it gets built up, who is responsible, what happened between the parties involved. And I changed my mind multiple times throughout the book trying to figure out who had done what and why. But really good, just family drama, contemporary book that I really enjoyed. And you guys have been like, I can't believe I haven't heard of Joy Fielding. Definitely would pick up another one of her books. Actually hauled one, spoiler alert. So I liked it. I gave that one 4 stars. Then I listened to The Ruin by Dervia McTiernan, 3 stars. Just a detective mystery case that takes place in Scotland. It was fine. It was fine. It was just a good detective mystery to listen to in an audiobook form. So I'll take it. It was all right. Then I listened to Find Her, and I can't think of the author's name, but it's going to be right here. This was a book I borrowed or I received from Libro. Libro FM, if you haven't heard of them, is a really awesome audiobook subscription service similar to Audible, but proceeds go to your local independent library. So highly suggest checking them out. I have a link below. But I listened to Find Her. It's right here. I finished that audiobook in like a weekend. It was so good. So you follow 2 friends, and one of them ends up going missing, and her past is very skeptical. She had amnesia, so she doesn't really know anything up until the day she woke up in the hospital after an accident. So there's that really interesting part of it. Their friendships was interesting. It really kept my attention. It was really good. I gave that one, I want to say 4 stars. And then I also finished Wife After Wife. So I really read 8 books. I missed that one. I finished Wife After Wife by Olivia Hayfield. This is a book that Amanda sent to me for our book exchange. It is a Henry VIII retelling. So if you're looking for just an easy read and you're totally fine with knowing a whole bunch of adultery that happens. I mean, it was like, I kind of compared it to a soap opera. Like, I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the drama. I mean, there's nothing more than that. So I really did enjoy that. I gave this, I think 3.5 stars, 4 stars, something like that. So we have Harry Rose, who kind of portrays Henry VIII, and it goes through each of the wives that he has, so you know what's coming up, but there's really awesome pop culture references in here from the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. How Olivia took the events of the past and modernized them, so you could see the parallels between what really happened to Henry VIII and then what happens to Harry Rose to represent that, I thought was really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. So pick this up if you're looking for some sort of easy read, something like that. It was good. Also read The Wicked Sister by Karen Dion. She wrote The Marsh King's Daughter, which I wholeheartedly enjoyed because it takes place in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which is not that far from me, similar to this book. So we have Rachel, who chose to lock herself away in a psychiatric facility, tortured by gaps in her memory and the certainty that she is responsible for her parents' deaths. She ends up learning new details about what happened that really makes her question what her memories are and sends her on this quest to really figure out the truth. And it's awesome. It's very suspenseful. So if you're looking for a book that you just can't stop turning the pages, this one is for you. I really enjoyed it. Then currently reading, I am in the midst of The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I mean, we're close. This book I am flying through. It is so awesome. Follows our main character Avery as she, out of the blue, inherits this billionaire's fortune, and she has to go live at the estate for a year before she can get it, and there are games afoot, and it's fantastic. Absolutely love it. So that is in the works. I'm trying to think of, my other book club is reading The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Ray Hinton. This one is a true story of his life on death row and how I find life and freedom on death row. So how he proved his innocence. I know a couple of people who've already read it and said it goes really, really quickly. So I'm excited for that one. And then we have the booklist backlist readathon coming up as well. So I have a small pile of books that I'm hoping to get read starting next week. So that's on my radar, but I'm not going to tell you what those are because you'll just have to wait for my TBR video for that one. So I think that's kind of all my plans, but you know me, I kind of just pick up whatever along the way. But anyways, really great reading month. Please comment below if you've had any great books that you picked up this month and you want to chat about them. I love to learn about good books. Otherwise, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye.